we have I made a YouTube video of using an Instagram. Oh my God, Jackie, talk. Instagram. Oh my God.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Interact's Grow Podcast, where we talk about all things marketing and help you grow your business. I'm your host, Jessmyn Solana. Great to be with you all as always. And here today we have the whole crew, Damaris, Jackie, and Jesy. Welcome everyone. Hello. So today we have a pretty fun topic for you all that I think, Jackie, you mentioned is kind of coming up a little bit more in what you've seen online. Jesy, you're on our Instagram, so I'm sure you've seen it. And, Damaris, I wonder if you get this question a lot in chat, but let me know. How to generate leads without having a website. But I know that Riverside has noises, but I just made my own. So, in the quiz world, we talk a lot about where to promote your quiz, where to publish your quiz, put it on your website. Everybody in marketing talks about like SEO practices, this and that, creating like sales pages and whatnot. But like, let's say you're not quite there, or let's say you don't feel the need to have an entire website for all of that. Like, first, let's talk about what's the difference between having a website where it's yada-da-da-da.com versus using like your Instagram link in bio or a TikTok link in bio and so on.
Nice. I guess I can hop in and start that. I think the biggest difference we obviously encourage most business owners to eventually have a website set up because you can have, contact us page, about us page, everything, sales pages. But I think the biggest difference is that social influencers are trying to sell things directly from their pages or through affiliate links. So they might even be linking, to sell products from their website. They'll be linking to like a like to know it or directly with affiliate codes. So I think the difference when it comes to having a website is that you have your own products that you're selling at that point. Because if you're selling your own products, you're going to have, a Shopify or an Etsy page or something set up as well. But usually you're going to be hosting that on your website somewhere, not just on Instagram.
I don't know if this is true or not, but would you say that having like a link tree, for example, or any other platform like that is more affordable than having a website? Because you have to pay for like the domain, you have to pay for the platform that you use, if it's like Squarespace or WordPress, or like you said, Shopify. You got to pay for I don't know if you have Shopify, I'm sure there's processing fees, like all that stuff,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're at the point where you're just like recommending products or making commission as kind of an influencer on other people's products, then for sure linking out to other people's websites is way more affordable than trying to host it all on yours. So I think that's also a reason why a lot of people do it starting out, because if they're not, making enough money to potentially see the benefits of creating a whole website, it's a great place to start.
Yeah. I think about a partner that was in our community, the Quiz Collective. Her name is Morgan, and she had quite a following on her Instagram. And she was making a quiz, and I'd asked her about where she was going to be putting it, and I found out she didn't have a website. And I thought, right away, like, okay, like her business isn't there yet, but no, her business was totally there. She even said like she probably should have a website at that point of her business. But the reason she didn't was because all of her clients came through Instagram. So sending them away to a website was a lot more distracting and would require more work from her and would require more money and time for her to put into that. Right. And so for her, it was, no, I want to keep them on Instagram in the chat. Like that's essentially my contact us page, just through through messaging. And then there was something in her link in bio. It could have been a link to a form to sign up for coaching. Or maybe it had a little bit more information, like other resources you could grab. But what I'm getting at is everything was super condensed into like, here are the 4 things that you would need if you're following me on Instagram. There wasn't a need to send them away to multiple pages and all of these things. Although, yes, there are definitely SEO benefits that you'd be missing out on if you're not indexed in Google, but her people weren't finding her through Google. So it wasn't a big thing for her to need to be worrying
Yeah.
about.
Right.
Yeah, this actually reminds me, I've seen a couple of our customers that have this LinkedIn, Instagram things attached to their bio, and they have different things to link to, like either like a consultation, or they'll have like some sort of like book this, back to like skincare, if you're an esthetician or something like that, book this service for at this time or whatever the case is. Um, and a lot of them don't have websites. So that's very interesting that we're talking about that. So it's just wanted to throw that question out. What is it? Maybe a services thing? I don't know.
It
Yeah.
could be. I think
Yeah,
I
I think
usually see it with like, especially fitness. I don't want to say gurus. I know people hate that word, but like, or fitness influencers online where, kind of the same idea. Like here's 4 things. It's like sign up for my, July fitness program. Oh my God, I forgot what month it was. And July was the first thing that came to mind. But, sign up for my next fitness program and then you get it through email. Or like a lot of them have an app. So it'll link to download the app, where their Instagram page serves as their way of capturing people for their audience, or it serves as like, instead of a blog, now they're doing video content, or now they're doing, pictures or like images with long captions, which in a way, I guess, actually, like speaking on SEO, platforms like TikTok and Instagram have their own form of that. It's just that you have to already be using the platform in order to like really benefit from that.
Yeah. I also like, just on this whole topic, I think there's a lot of people who have huge followings. They don't have websites. They are making good money off commissions or whatever, or services that they're selling. But I think curious as to, like, they see that they have 10,000 followers. I wonder if they're, in their minds, they're like, wow, it's kind of like I have 10,000 people on my email list, Like, I wonder if they relate those two things in that same way. And then that also is like, they're like, oh, maybe we don't need a website. But I mean, having 10,000 followers versus having 10,000 engaged people on your email list is a huge difference.
Yeah, I would say that like the benefit of having that many followers is that, obviously, like, you look more popular to big brands. You look more popular to big brands. Or I would say if I was shopping around for, maybe like a mindset coach or an online yoga teacher, somebody with more followers might be more appealing than someone with less followers, or the opposite. Sometimes I would be like, oh, I think they're, more genuine because they have like a good solid 10K following rather than like 100 million, for example. But I remember, I believe Josh was the one who taught me this like super long ago, where he had said the people that are following you on Instagram like aren't as, like, they might be engaged, but they're not going to be as loyal as somebody who's on your email list because they asked to be there. They like opted in to receive email communications from you, rather than if I hit follow, especially with the algorithm, you never know if people, like, how many people are actually seeing your posts.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge point, is that the people that like want to hear from you and stuff, if you're not sure why you should be making an email list in the first place, well, you could drive your engagement on your socials higher, because if you, at the end of the week on Friday, you send them an email with your top 3 posts for that week, or really important things you didn't want them to miss, like boom, there's one easy email. And that also increases all your stats on Instagram as well, or Twitter or LinkedIn or wherever else, just in case people missed it, because with how Instagram goes, or TikTok or anything, you can miss things all the time.
Right.
And I think some people, like, when we think about email marketing as Instagram users, we're like, oh, how annoying. But I can't tell you how many times from Instagram, or really any social platform I was on, especially when a brand found me that I like something and I saw it and I clicked on it, or maybe I subscribed because I had a coupon code, but I never ended up purchasing anything. The number of times that I actually made a purchase because they reminded me in my inbox that I was looking at this thing, or, hey, like, this is why you would need these things. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I probably have purchased through email reminders from doing that 7 times out of the 10 that I've never purchased anything directly on Instagram. What am I even saying? I've never done that. But when you remind me
Yeah.
through emails, it's such a good way to re-engage me. Let me know a new collection is coming out, new colors. Hey, you restocked that thing that I was looking at that I couldn't buy, but I really wanted.
Right.
So I think the stat that we always said in coaching, Jess, what you were saying, Josh had mentioned, was 10% of your followers will see a post when you share it. And so that's why it's really important to reshare content. You don't have to just let it go to waste after you just post one time. But one, two, whatever I said before. Number 2 is getting their email is the best way to get in touch with them, because if they don't find that post or they didn't see it the first time, they will see it come through their inbox.
Right.
Yeah. And just to add another interesting thing that I just thought about, and I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one, because you guys all know I'm the queen of subscribing to things and then holding myself as a loyal customer over here. I think of like my nail tech, or I have my esthetician friends. They don't have websites. Like my nail tech does not have a website. Neither does my esthetician friends. And their following has, or their loyal customer base has been all word of mouth. Like essentially, that's how I ended up going with my nail tech, and I've been going with her for 15 years, back to being a loyal customer, guys. And I'll follow her everywhere. Probably I follow her to 3 or 4 shops at this point, but it's been the relationship of word of mouth. The same thing with estheticians. So I'm just thinking, like, is that where that idea sort of comes from, right? Like, oh, this is my following, and if I do a good job, they'll just keep following me and they'll just keep coming back. And then if I keep posting, I'll just keep that sort of line of communication open, which I didn't think about until we are now in this podcast live. So just something.
on that thought, actually, I will say, so like when you're thinking about your website, and the best way to be seen or have people find your website is through targeted SEO, that could take so long to actually establish and get ready. Whereas like on Instagram, kind of like you said, like you keep posting. I know for my wedding last year, all my vendors, I was looking up hashtags like New Jersey wedding photographer, New Jersey wedding makeup artist, like very specific things. And then like using that to find people in my local area to actually like do stuff for my wedding, right? So it's like, it is a little bit of word of mouth, but if you know how to use the platform properly, you could get seen faster and gain like more of a following. But maybe the question from that in terms of generating leads is like, cool, now you have a following, then what? Like, how do you continue to engage your followers into actually purchasing from you?
Yep.
I mean, most people aren't going to necessarily like this, but the best way to engage people or get people from your Instagram to your email list is to let them know that you're sharing more juicy details about something on there, or that's where the party really is, or that's where you're going to dive in on like the details about something. Like you might have shared something on a post, but if they want to get the full guide on how you did it, or, more details about anything, you tell them it's on your email list. And that's pretty much, I think, is always a good way to kind of like make it feel like they're missing out on something if they're not on your email list, because they should be, because your email list should be where you share the most valuable information with your most loyal people.
That's true. That's true. So let's talk a little bit more about the actual generating leads part, which I'm sure everybody knows. We're going to lead it to quiz. I'm not even gonna pretend that's not where we're going. And the first thing I want to say to that is you can still make a quiz and use it for your social media following, pop it into your social media profile, and get people onto your email list that way. The second thing I want to say is, maybe this is more of a question, but like, would you guys say the process for that or the strategy for that is different than if you did have a website? And what would be the same or different?
I think it depends on what your goal is, like what you're trying to do. If your website is where you're wanting to send people because that's where they're going to learn more about a sales page of your offering, a course that you have, or maybe you're more of a lifestyle brand where you touch all different sorts of like niches and industries within that. Maybe you have like subdomains that you're wanting to send specific people to. Maybe it's a seasonal thing where certain times of the year it makes more sense to send them to your website because that's, I don't know, where they can get certain things, versus other times of the year they just need a link to purchase because it's Black Friday and you have a coupon sale. So I think it really depends on what is it that you're trying to do. But the answer is always, I think, put your quiz or your link on Instagram as the thing that is going to excite the most amount of people. Like that's what we call the 80-20 rule. Like we want to make 80% of our customers the happiest, or I guess rather when we make decisions, how is this going to affect our customers? If it's going to affect 80% of them, then we're going to take that much more heavily than, only 20% of customers are affected, even though this thing would be nice to have. So I think it really depends if you're putting your quiz on your website or your quiz directly on Instagram, or you're putting your website onto Instagram that then has your quiz. It really just depends on where do you want people to go. Send them there quickly. So if it's to the quiz, get them to the quiz directly, but also give them the thing that they're going to get most excited about, because that's gives you the biggest chance of, like Damaris was saying, getting that word of mouth, having people reshare and repost and, hey, check out this amazing quiz. Oh my God, look at this coupon code that I just got for this thing, blah, blah, blah. I hit my mic. Sorry. Excited.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was also just going to say that I think if your main presence is on socials, there already is like usually more, the tone is a little bit more fun and lively. So, maybe keep your quiz a little bit more fun and lively and easily shareable. So like if I see your quiz on Instagram, I'm going to send it to Jessmyn and be like, look, I just took this quiz. It was so funny, like blah, blah, blah. This is what I got, And also we talk about going viral a lot on Instagram, but there's also a good chance that your quiz can go viral, which there's pros and cons to that. I think we covered that in another episode. But I think just keeping the overall tone maybe like more like easily digestible and shareable is really beneficial on socials.
Yeah,
like
this reminds me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go.
No, this reminds me of somebody I follow on TikTok, not Instagram, but I follow on TikTok, and she does a great job at like providing valuable information to her audience. She'll just go on like in a 2-minute tangent or whatever it is about a specific topic. And then at the very end, after she's given this valuable information, she'll say, you guys are welcome to join, I think she says email list or something like that, or subscribe to her email list. But you could easily do that with your quiz. And it doesn't sound like she's pushing anything. She's given all this information already up front. It's just if you want more additional information or more details about this specific topic, you're welcome to subscribe. So that just reminds me of what Jesy was saying. It was a very fluent, very like streamlined process that she's narrowed down. I mean, I've even thought about it. Do I want to join another email subscriber list? But it's very like almost at a subconscious level. I'm like, do I want to do that? I don't, maybe if I want to get more information, it's very smart. And so, and reminded me of what Jesy said. It's a very like lively informational, beneficial sort of stance that she has to it. So that's another idea. It's a great idea.
It sounds like what's different between what you guys are saying, like what's different between having a website and your quiz on your web, like, .com website versus like your social media link in bio is that it's a different stage of the funnel. So if it's on your website, you're assuming people are maybe searching specific keywords. They come across your quiz and they're like, I don't really know this, but it's interesting. Let me take it, and learn more. Whereas when you have a quiz on your social media, you can assume that people have an idea of who you are, what you're about, because they've either seen one video or a lot of your videos, or they're following you. Adding a quiz into the mix just kind of moves them further down the funnel. I'm kind of thinking about when Jackie said earlier that she hasn't bought anything from Instagram. It's super interesting. I haven't either. Jesy and Damaris, I'm curious if you have, but
nope.
I know that's a feature that's on all the social platforms now where you can purchase directly from there. It's like start on Pinterest, you could do it on Instagram, you could do it on TikTok. But like, I guess my question is, do people actually purchase? And if so, I don't know, like, does a quiz even matter to that part of the funnel? Like, if you could get people to directly buy from you on your Instagram, like, will a quiz help or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I say go back to like remember the goal, right? If the
Yeah.
goal is sales, then let them buy. That's your goal and you're achieving it if they're buying that directly. And also remember, if you want to email them later, when they purchase from you, you're probably collecting their email. So you wouldn't necessarily need to confuse them, or I don't want to say ruin, but mix up the user experience, right? Give them the link, let them book it, let them buy the thing, and then they can go about their day. But something I think I've seen come up quite a bit in the AI requests that we get when they do submit their link in bios. Like, so I've specifically Stan Store. I've seen a few of those come through. And so what I'm seeing is you open the link and it's their Stan Store link in bio. So it's all these different sort of like cards of, hey, I have this freebie that's going to help you figure out this. Then I have this low ticket offer that's going to help you figure out this. It's like less than $20. Then I have this like mid ticket thing, maybe like $40-$50 that will help you do this. And then maybe it's like a, hey, let's chat, jump on a strategy call type thing. But it's really, if you have something like that where you're just putting your offers out there to see what people are clicking on, or sort of like give them a vision of what it is that you offer, or just an easy place for them to click it because they know that you're posting about it, right? Then adding a quiz within that could be really helpful for the people who are not purchasing, but maybe are feeling a little bit stuck. So there's still something there for the people who don't want to buy, or that maybe the free resource that you have on there isn't like screaming out to them. If you had them go through a quiz, figure out what it is that they're looking for, and then through email was like, oh, hey, actually, you don't need this freebie. You need this other thing, or this blog post, or you don't need these paid. That just feels like Damaris was saying earlier, that's building such a relationship. It's creating such a connection because I'm really trusting you that you're not just trying to get me to buy something to get me to buy something. You really care about what it is I'm doing on your page, why I'm following you, what I'm looking for, how I need help. And so in that case, yeah, you have to have a quiz in order to tell you those things. But if they're buying and that's the goal, then no, we don't have to sell you on needing a quiz because you're already doing that thing.
And it goes back to like the basics of why create a quiz in the first place, right? Like
Totally.
Give people an option specifically tailored to them. If you put out all of your offers, there, especially in something like a link tree or link in bio, I don't know, like if I saw that, I'd be like, well, which one do I do? The cheapest one, because I don't want to spend that much money. Like you use a quiz to add value, to those offers that you have, because it sounds like, those could be ebooks that you create, right? But it's like, why should I purchase your ebook? Well, let me tell you through a quiz, right? Like, let me help you figure out which one's right for you.
Yeah. Or that even reminds me of like what you were saying earlier, Jessmyn, when you were planning your wedding and you were looking for things through Instagram. If you're coming across somebody that's great at photography, a quiz would really help you determine like, oh, what style of photography do you need, and then that would enhance your experience as a user. Like, okay, this is actually really nice. Like I kind of want to add it on the back burner, or maybe add it to my list of places I need to call, whatever it is, right? Whatever process everybody has. But it sort of just starts subconsciously creating that interest with your customers and that trust factor. So
yeah.
To tie on to that, once like someone from your Instagram following what their photography style is, then you can hit them in their emails and be like, boom, I have 5 upcoming sessions for portrait photography, like book now. And based on that. And it also just kind of ties in, like if you're like a fitness influencer, like we were talking about, and you have 10,000 followers and you're pretty sure that 70% of them are following you looking for workout ideas, like people that want to work out and lose weight or anything. But what if that other 30% are other fitness trainers who are looking to build their like fitness influencing business? Through a quiz, you could find that out and possibly even open up like a new avenue for your business where you're not just teaching people how to work out and selling workout programs. You could also be teaching other coaches how to get to a point where you are at.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It could totally change the game of your business. I feel like I met somebody once where they were like, I think they were a photographer or something like that. I might only be saying photographer because Damaris just had a whole story, but like, I think they were a photographer. They ended up finding out through their quiz that people were reading, I mean, this is different. They had a whole website, but people were looking at their blog specifically to learn photography. So she added that as like the main part of her business. She turned into a photography coach, but like still offered sessions on the side for people who wanted. But she realized that more of the people who found her wanted to learn more about photography rather than actually have her take their photos.
Yeah. That's really cool. And if you think about it, when someone has a big social following, most of the time they're doing something right. And most of the time there's people who want to know how they did that and why and what they can do to do that. So it kind of all ties in together.
Right.
I really like what Jesy was saying, because I was sort of thinking about the industry question that we posed earlier of like, does it matter the industry that they're in? And I started thinking about these lifestyle brands who might have hundreds of offers for different types of people who are interested. I'm thinking Jenna Kutcher, right, who has photography services. At one time she did, then transitioned to the photography coach, then became a marketing business expert, and now is offering a lifestyle brand. But all of those people are following her one Instagram account, you know? So just slapping all of your offers into your LinkedIn bio when you're supporting that many different types of people is going to offer a terrible experience to your followers, because you're showing them things that they would like. If I'm, trying to start my own photography business and you're talking about Jenna Kutcher redoing her brand new house and paint colors and choosing sofas and stuff, that's not what I need. Oh, maybe I don't think Jenna helps with marketing stuff anymore. But if I go into her funnel, into her business, and from her Instagram into her quiz, then she's segmenting to know, oh, okay, Jackie's only here because she's trying to get her own photography business started. I'm only going to be pushing her through these specific email marketing flows that speak to that, not that speak to this, my new book. Well, I don't know, maybe her book is related, but specifically like the house updates that she's got going on right now. But she's able to transition that because she knows who she's talking to. She knows that, like you were saying, Jess, that other customer, she knows that there's people who are looking for these types of things, right? Like these niche support pieces. That's not the word.
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? So she can be specific with what she's saying to who, so that she can help them out the best way possible, which is what everybody wants. So don't spend time, don't make your people spend hours going through all of your offerings and your resources. Just give them the things that they need based on what they're telling you through their quiz right away.
Right. Another thought that I had as you were actually speaking right now was, if your goal in your business is to, be able to work with big brands because you're an influencer on social media, a great way to use your quiz is actually to be like, hey, 50% of my audience wants to buy things from me. They want to know where I got all the outfits that I'm wearing, even though I talk about being a mom or something like that, right? Like maybe your whole page is about being a mom and what it's actually like with your 3 kids, and what your day-to-day looks like, but you're becoming an influencer, and within that, people are like, in the comments, maybe they're like, oh, what a cute pajama set, where did you get it? Right now you have the thought, well, okay, well, maybe I could turn this into a brand deal, but how do I do that? I can't say 50% of my comments ask me where my clothes are from. If you had a quiz that answered that question of why do you follow me, basically, then you could use that data as working with brands. Hey, I have X amount of people who are interested in, in your clothing because I'm wearing it. What do you say we cut up a deal to where, I get affiliate commission for, all the people that I send to you or something like that. That was totally chopped up, but that was just a thought that I had of using your quiz analytics to be able to even do more with your platform.
Yeah. I mean, I always think I know certain influencers are promoting certain products seasonally and blah, blah, blah. But when the time comes and I need that product or anything, I'm searching through their feed for that promo code, when Black Friday comes around, it'd be so much more convenient if I just had an email from them telling me about the promos and things that they're going on with their brands and stuff, instead of having to search through feeds and all the chaos. And that's usually way a surefire way that I'll actually use it and, not give up and just be okay, fine, I'll use it without their promo code.
Right.
I think also, Jess, what you were saying is such an organic way to sell. You're following me because I'm living this crazy mom life. And then I post, a funny picture of me in my pajamas or whatever. And then people start saying, oh, I really like that. I want to know more. You might not need, I mean, you probably would notice that happening first within like the post itself, the engagement on the post, maybe even within the comments. And I think that would be a perfect time to then sort of start the quiz process of, okay, that's not what I expected to sell, my pajamas. I thought I was, doing business coaching or whatever. But how do you include that in a quiz so you can pull out who the moms are in your audience, or who the people are that are working from home who want really comfortable and cute pajamas they can show up
Right.
on camera for, or whatever, right?
Right.
So you can have those conversations in messages, because you can't have the same conversation on Instagram with everybody in your audience, because everybody's looking to hear something different. That's why social media is fun, because you can go to the posts and the videos and the things that you are most interested in. But then if that's already happening in your email, that's perfect for the influencer, because you're not doing anything. It's all automated for everybody.
Yeah.
Who needs the pajamas versus who needs the business support or whatever they're following you for.
I love that.
So let's break it down for the people who are listening with how to generate leads without a website. I would say, like, number one, from what we talked about in our conversation, was if you're already on the platform, know how to be visible through hashtags, through social media SEO. I want to say social media, but I really mean Instagram and TikTok. Those I think are the first two things. Obviously have content that, enough content on there. Damaris, what were you saying? Continue posting on your Instagram so people could see what you're about, what you do. Pop that link in bio or link tree into your Instagram or TikTok bio, to where people could go to some sort of website that you could put your quiz in there. And make sure your quiz, guys, add in, if I'm just trying to do this from memory, so add in if I'm missing something. But think about what your goal is for your quiz. What are you trying to do with your Instagram followers to capture them, to get them into your email list?
Yeah, I would say, because I've seen this in going back to that Stan Store link, I've seen it where you can add an opt-in form directly there. So to be completely honest, right, that's probably the easiest thing you can do and wouldn't need another software if you're using something that can already do it. So start with the opt-in form. But we already know that quizzes convert 38% higher than an opt-in form. So once you're ready, then try the quiz out. And it would be really cool, I think, to compare what those conversions look like. Because even if the quiz conversion, right, they're going to be higher. I know the quiz conversions will be higher, but even if they weren't, the amount of information that you're going to get from the people who are coming through the quiz versus just subscribing through the opt-in form might prove an even more successful result from this little test if you try that out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love that. Data is everything. I always say that.
Is it? We have I made a YouTube video of using an Instagram. Oh my God, Jackie, talk. Instagram. Oh my gosh, I made a YouTube video of how to use your Interact quiz. So you would have your own quiz as the link in bio, because I do know that's the request that we get from customers is well, or maybe not even a request, but something that they're looking for. How else can I use this software that I'm already paying for so that I don't have to buy more software? And I thought that was really fun, because Jess, you're saying data is king. It's so helpful. I'm not a numbers person, but the way Interact breaks down your analytics are so easy to read that literally, if they're clicking on button A versus button B versus button C, you'll see how many people clicked on it. You get percent breakdown. So it just goes to show you wow, half of my audience is interested in this and not this other thing that I was expecting or whatever.
Right. You could actually, I just noticed this yesterday, that you could add multiple links into your bio now on Instagram, at least. I don't know about TikTok. I don't think you can, but on Instagram you can. I will say, I guess the downside of that would be you're limited to I don't know, whatever those links are. Whereas like if you did have a link tree, you could like make it with your branding. You could switch out the information really easily. Just some
The thing
thoughts.
that the thing that makes me nervous about that, Jess, is so many links I'll see as like bit.ly dot whatever number doesn't make sense.
Right.
So if someone is putting multiple links on there, make sure we know what the links are for, because if we don't and there's just 3 bit.ly links there, nobody's going to probably want to click on those because we have no effect.
Yep.
Exactly.
Also, it's not easy to click the links in people's bios. Half the time I'll try and click something and I'm looking at their story and I'm like, no, I want the link. And then I'm clicking on something else. So I feel like one link is usually best practice.
Yeah, because then they're always going back to that one spot to find this thing that you're telling them to do in all your posts. Yeah.
Love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for helping break down how to generate leads without a website. For our listeners, thanks for joining us again. If you have any questions, as always, please write in. Let us know what you think. I would be super curious to hear if anyone has any other best practices that they're using for their Instagram profiles, whether or not you have a quiz. But you do have links in there. That would be really cool to hear.
And shameless plug, if you don't have a website and you want to try creating a quiz, you can head to our Instagram at TryInteract and head to our link in bio and make a quiz.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks, guys. See you all next time.